This video is the next part of my 1 year in the Netherlands series, and in this video I'll be sharing how I got used to the culture, the environment, and the language. I want to start off this video by saying that whatever I share in this video is my experience. I'm not trying to say this is how Netherlands generally is or this is how the people generally are. Somebody else from Nigeria who comes to the Netherlands might have a different experience. Anyways, what better way to start my story than sharing the housing situation in the Netherlands, especially in the capital city, Amsterdam, where I spent 1 year. Houses are not just scarce but also expensive, and for me, coming from Nigeria where I was paying house rent per year to a country where I'm paying house rent per month, that was a big shock. I was not informed. In Nigeria, even before coming here, I was paying a house rent of I think somewhere around 200,000 naira, and I was paying that per year. Then I come here and then the houses that I'm seeing, especially for a studio or for a 1-bedroom apartment, is like 1,000 euros plus. Converted to naira, that is like 1 million. So I wasn't even paying 1 million naira for a house per year in Nigeria, and I come here and I'm paying over 1 million per month. I know I shouldn't be converting to naira, but you get the point. The next part is parking space. Coming from Nigeria where we didn't officially have like parking spaces, you can just park your car near the gutter or wherever you find a free space. Here in the Netherlands, in almost everywhere you go, there are parking spaces. Some of these parking spaces are free and some of them you have to pay. You can either pay per hour, pay per day. Some of them are even free for like a certain period of time. So once you stay longer than that period of time, you have to pay. These are for cars. For bicycles, most of the time you have free parking spaces for bicycles, and maybe motorbikes, that is the same case. But I mean, I don't drive a car, so it's not like I've ever had to look for a parking space. I only have a bicycle. But yeah, it was one thing that when I came here and I saw it and I was like, okay, this is new, but I love it. At least it helps keep the environment in good shape. Then people being nice. In my experience, the people who have come across since coming here in the last 1 year, they have been so nice, and I'll be honest, I was scared at first. Now in Nigeria where I come from, at least in my community where I used to live, whenever somebody is being nice to you, it's like they want something. They want you to give them something, or they want to ask for a favor, maybe immediately or in the next 1 week or in the next 1 month, and then they can kind of like hold on to the good thing that they did for you, so now you have to kind of pay it back. So when I came here and I found people being so nice to me, I was first like, what do you want from me? I was surprised. And especially in the church, because I spent a lot of my time in the church, the people there were just so nice, so welcoming. It was just like, at first I was like, chill, take it easy, you don't have to be this nice. But I think after some time I just had to accept the fact that okay, I think people generally in this country are nice. Like I said, somebody else may have a different experience, but at least from the experiences I've had from some of my friends or even some people around me generally, maybe even colleagues at work, it's like there are a good number of nice people in this country, and yeah, I can testify to that in my experience. And also people obeying traffic lights and zebra crossing. I don't know if they call it zebra crossing here. Coming here, that was also a surprise, because where I also come from, we have traffic lights. Some of the traffic lights work, some of them do not work, but the only time that vehicles actually pay attention to this traffic light is if those people in uniform, I don't think they're policemen, I've forgotten their name, but those people in uniform, whenever they're standing at that point in the road when there's a traffic light, because they are there to ensure that people follow the light when it is green, they follow the light when it is red. So those were only the points where I actually saw people following the traffic light. But in some other places where traffic lights may be working, cars just drive by, people just do whatever that they want to do. And also when it comes to zebra crossing, I haven't really had much experiences where people actually respect that. There's a zebra crossing, but then cars, bikes, everybody just pass through. You have to look left, look right, and look left again until everywhere is free before you can actually cross a zebra crossing. But when I came here, I could see people actually following the traffic lights. Like there doesn't need to be anybody in uniform who directs them. Once it is green, people go. Once it is red, people stop. Once it is orange, people know that they are to stop. And then when it comes to zebra crossing, that was the biggest shock. Like there's a zebra crossing, there is a car, coming from far and you're about crossing the road, like for me coming from Nigeria, I'm like, I have to wait for this car to go completely. But then this car stops. Even if I'm still far away from the zebra crossing sign, the car sees me coming, the car already stops, and then now I have to walk fast. I'm like, oh, you're stopping for me? I have to actually walk fast and cross the road. That was a shocker. In fact, I've had this experience where I'm walking with one of my friends who has been here for a long time or was even born here. They see the zebra crossing, they already know that the car or whatever vehicle coming is going to stop. But then as they're going, I quickly like draw them back, like, wait, a car is coming. And they're like, yeah, the car would stop for me. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. The car would stop for you. So that was also a big shocker for me, and I had to get used to it. I mean, I still have that whole thing of like waiting for the cars to move, but yeah, I've accepted it more better than before. People minding their business is also part of the culture that I had to get used to. And people minding their business, you can look at it like a good thing, but sometimes you wish people wouldn't mind their business as much as they're minding their business. I can give you an example. Now in Nigeria, let's say you are carrying your luggage boxes or bags and you're moving and maybe you are uncomfortable as you move. There could be somebody around who would want to offer you a hand, like, hey, let me help you or something. But here, people mind your business. Like, you could be in such discomfort going with your luggage bags and everything, and people just let you be. I am not saying that people must help me. I'm not feeling entitled to people's time. But you know, sometimes, especially from a country where you come from, where you know that people might help you in such cases, but then everybody just lets you mind your business. And you also see minding your business, and this is a funny example, but in public transport like the metros or the trains, you see some couples maybe making out, or let me not say making out, they're like kissing and everything, and then everybody's just minding their businesses. Whoever is pressing their phone is pressing their phone, whoever is reading their book is reading their book, whoever is chatting with their friend, they chatting with their friend. And I'm the only person, because of where I come from, who is like, how are you able to do this publicly? And why is every other person not looking? Why am I the only one looking? People mind their business here a lot. Then, talking direct. The Dutch people are known for talking direct, and I don't know, the fact that I say Dutch people makes me feel like I shouldn't have said that. But you usually hear things like, if a Dutch person likes you, you would know. If they do not like you, you would know, because they're straightforward. They let you know how they feel, like they let you know what they like and what they do not like. And this was something that I had already heard of even before coming here, you know, from the videos that I watched about Netherlands. But when I came here, I would say I didn't really experience that much directness at the first few months. I was like, they said these people are so direct, why haven't I noticed it yet? Or have I just been ignorant, or they were not as direct as I expected them to be, and that's why it didn't feel like they were direct. But I think after some time I started saying like, yeah, they can be direct. Like, there are some things that personally I won't even joke about. Like, let's say a friend of mine is wearing a shoe or something that doesn't fit. There's a way I would pass that message. I won't go directly and tell them, what are you wearing? This doesn't match or something. But I've seen this a lot where somebody says something so direct and I'm like, how did you do that so freely? And the person on the receiving end too receives it so freely, like, oh really? And I'm like, wow. So they actually talk direct here. I haven't experienced so much of it, and I haven't experienced it in a toxic manner. It has always been like friendly and with good intentions, but I've heard of some people who have received such feedback in a toxic manner. And then let's talk about the language. Dutch. The language is such an interesting language. I've seen some experts from different countries who say the language is hard and everything. I'm going to be honest, the language is actually hard. Like for me, it took me a lot of time to pronounce the G correctly. So the G in Dutch is pronounced like G. So if I want to say like go, it's like go, something like that, I think. But this took me some time. Like I remember the first few times I tried pronouncing this G, it was like I wanted to spit out of my mouth, like something like that. Yeah, I think after so much practicing and learning from Duolingo, I now know how to speak it better or pronounce it better. Like there's also the CH. So let's say something like SCHAAP instead of like chap or something, it's like scap. So I think I'm doing better. But also when you talk about the language, in the capital city, which is Amsterdam, you find a lot of people willing to speak English. Their native language is Dutch. Whenever they're around their Dutch friends, they would rather speak Dutch. But when you come into the mix and you let them know that you only know English, people are more often than not willing to switch to English. But then when you go to the other remote areas in the Netherlands, then you would find a lot of Dutch speaking people who find English hard. So I would say language barrier has not been a problem for me. And comparing this with some other countries that I've had, it's like I'm glad to be in the Netherlands where I don't have to face so much language barrier. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to like culture or environment is racism. Racism is something that I've always been scared before coming here. I'm coming to a country, there are not a lot of black people, or so I thought, and I'm like, how is that experience going to be? I've had a lot of crazy experiences from people who moved to abroad, not necessarily Netherlands, but other countries. And I'm going to say, in the past 1 year being here, I haven't seen any racism so glaring, so direct, you can see the racism, nobody has to tell you. I've had few conversations from people where they have actually experienced such. Personally, I haven't. And the reason why I say direct is it may have come indirectly. There are some times where I'm on a public transport, there are so many people standing, I'm sitting on a seat, there is a free seat beside me, and I expect that, somebody who is coming would want to sit. I even adjust, giving them more space, but then the person doesn't sit. At that moment, I may want to conclude racism. No. For me, at that moment, I feel like there are different reasons you may not want to sit. I've been in positions where I see an empty seat and I just prefer standing. So for me, I don't conclude. Probably that is also what that person in that moment is thinking or feeling like. So there may have been some of those cases where maybe I was ignorant or I didn't even pay attention, and maybe it must have been racism, or maybe it wasn't. And that is why I say I haven't experienced racism, in all honesty, in such a way that it's so clear, that person was being racist. But again, like I said, this is my experience. There are probably other people from Nigeria who have experienced this in direct or even more toxic ways. Anyways, that's all I wanted to share in this video. This has been my experience so far when it comes to culture, environment, and with the language. The Netherlands is a great country. Amsterdam is a great city, and I hope sharing my experience in this video has taught you some things, or just giving you new things to think about when it comes to abroad life, or even when it comes to Netherlands in particular. And look forward to more videos I'll be sharing in this series. In fact, in my next video, I'll be talking about how I found a new church and how I was able to make new friends 1 year being in the Netherlands.